$40,000 on the line here, and 25 pro points.
Which is level 3.
Yeah.
Guarantees you a full year of invites. Actually, 2 full years of invites.
Right. I mean, in Mike's case, he goes straight to level 3 for the rest of this year, and he'll have at least 25 points to carry over to last year.
Right.
He's actually already gotten 20 with second place,
Right.
so he's qualified for the next 2 years with the Pro Tours
both
by
of these
virtue of his
players
second place. Usawa is sitting comfortably in level 5 for the rest of this year, but
he's locked up the following season as well.
He's locked up the gravy train for next year.
Appearance fees at Pro Tours, and I mean, a real game plan for the year. If you can get off to an early pro point start,
right?
You really know, like, I really better start circling Grand Prix dates. Getting up to level 5, getting up to level 6.
It's true.
Is really offsets the travel costs, and you get some nice appearance fees, and you can if you can get there early, you can get that a year and a half.
Right.
And really start to hit. Sounds like Osawa might have also gone to the Vampiric Link.
Interesting.
Card hasn't seen play in some time, but making up for it in the finals. Well, still hasn't seen play.
I guess so. Wizzos on the border pointing out Anton's profile.
Hi, Britt.
Yeah. So when does he come into the Hall of Fame debate? Is he year 4?
4 or 5? I think he's 5.
Anton, you're listening. What year are you? And do you think you belong in the Hall of Fame with your 5 Pro Tour top 8s?
Yeah, I mean, barring a crazy scenario like the year 3 ballot, I see Anton as a Hall of Famer.
Remember, there's going to be some leftovers from the year 3 ballot.
Right. Sure.
So some pretty Sal's mulliganing here. Is that Haroun Remy?
It does appear to be Haroun Remy. I gotta say, I'm having quite the ball sitting here as grumpy men of the PT of Christmas Past, Anton, Kai, and me, talking about the webcast. That's funny. Jerome is backing up Anton, his card evaluations. But Jerome really, ultimately, he just wants our job.
Sure.
We missed you, buddy. All 3 of those guys were missed.
Yeah, absolutely. I know Haroun tried to, PTQ'd for this event.
Yeah?
Yeah, he hit it. I know he's hitting the extended PTQs too. Hopefully we'll see him in Yokohama.
That'd be fun.
Got a Sage of Epicure on turn 1 from Osawa. Looks like a chromatic star.
Yep.
Yeah, it's interesting talking about card evaluations. I mean, we're definitely seeing some cards that a lot of people would traditionally frown upon. Sage of Epicure is definitely not a card that people like very much.
Right.
Vampiric Link, not a card people are even looking to for their sideboard options.
True.
Essence Warden is even a card that, you see people kind of split on. Certainly hasn't entered the green debate in terms of people's pick orders.
Sure.
I
certainly
think
good enough that Ron doesn't want to block a Sage of Epicure with it.
I think it's one of the things that's really fascinating about Limited is that people can have such widely divergent card evaluations.
Yeah.
And again, working within the context of your plan, have those card evaluations be...
And your opponent.
Yeah.
I mean, Jetta's Dragoons gets past 14th a lot, but you know what? You start playing against the red-green aggro deck that's just going to come charging out.
Or you're playing in the white mirror.
Right. All of a sudden, that card's very good. So the good players know to pick those up late in the packs, and they know when to sideboard them in.
There's a deadly grub.
Ah. In from the side. Speaking of in from the sideboard.
Suspended Atisis.
All right. An Ephemeron and a Tysis suspended for Takuya Usawa. A Morph and a Sage of Epicure in play already. Deadly Grub and Essence Warden for Micron.
Just pass the turn. Morph's thinking about attacking, but Sawa doesn't want to trade it. Content to let the grub fade away.
I guess so.
Oh, here comes an Ephemeron.
Ron does gain a life off of it. So is this Ron's B team again?
I mean, we haven't seen any of it. Oh, there's the vampiric link we were just talking about.
Interesting. So Usawa decides
How many answers does Mike have
to an Ephemeron?
to that Ephemeron? Certainly an Ephemeron, he doesn't really have a way to get it out of play.
Huh.
I mean, I guess he could.
He just has to outrace it?
How does he outrace it? He's getting 4 life return off it.
It's true. Do Usawa know that? Is that why he brought in the
I mean,
Vampiric
they've looked at
Link?
the deck list. He has to know. I mean, am I missing an answer here? He's got a Strangling Slit for his removal. He's got his own Vampiric Link that he's brought in that he can sort of...
Huh.
But that seems like that's going to be a messy game that it's going to go on for a while. I mean, you do what you have to do, but he has no actual way to deal with the card in play. Did he put his own Vampiric Link on it just now?
Yes, he did.
So does Osawa keep attacking here? Right, he just gains 4 a turn. It's a push for
Right. Yeah, no reason not
Mike.
to.
Yeah.
Ron goes down 4, up 4, stays put, but Sawa keeps going up.
You know, no doubt the card was brought in thinking about Tromp the Domains and just trying to keep himself out of Tromp range. Kind of interesting, though, that Tysis is just going to hit an Essence Warden right now. The 6/1 grub is untargetable.
Uh-huh. Ron plays Wood Readers, draws a couple of cards. He's now got a Wood Readers, an Essence Warden, and a 6/1 untargetable insect token. He's squaring off against a Morph, a Sage of Epicure, and an Errant Ephemeron with 2 Vampiric Links on it. Each player has put a Vampiric Link on that thing. Usawa wanted to gain 4 a turn. Vaughn wanted to stop taking 4 a turn. And pretty much they both get their way. Ephemeron serves. Usawa sends his life total up by 4 more. Dune Rider comes down for Takuya Usawa. Everybody's green on Micron's side of the board right now. Oh, but there's the strangling, so down goes Dune Rider. Pretty gummed up board. Tysus is going to resolve now. I think Ron's been hesitant to really commit much to the board until this happened. Basically given Usawa the choice of an Essence Warden or a Wood Reader. What will Usawa decide to take out? Ron cycling through Chromatic Star. Oh, here comes an Ashcoat Bear. Grabs 1 more life off of the Essence Warden before the Essence Warden goes away. So Ron dodges 1 Tysus reasonably well. Doesn't really have an answer to a 4/4 Spirit Link Flyer, though. Usawa's up to 36. It's not clear what's going to stop Usawa from just going up and up and up and up and up and up and up. Like, can Ron realistically get to a point where he's going to deal more than 4 damage a turn? I guess extremely large worms is the answer. Yeah, it's funny. Torsten was pointing this out on the boards already. At Prague, the worms were Usawa's friend. It was him using worms to win the Pro Tour. Here, he and the worms are on opposite sides of the table. Well, there's a 5/5 worm. Yep, Usawa gaining 4 life a turn. But worm clothing really can counteract that. Usawa laid his 3rd swamp there. 1 swamp short of being able to hard cast Tysus. 2 left in his deck. Ron with 19 points to play with. Might take both copies of Tysus to kill him. There's Stonebrow. And Trespasser Ilvek. So yeah, with that first Tysus, Suspend has cleared. Ron now building his board up out of the cards he was holding back. Usawa gains 4 more. He's at 44 now. And plays a Corpulent Corpse. Ron capable of making 5/5 worms with buyback. Stonebrow heads over. Crunch.
At what point do you start thinking about trying to deck your opponent?
Well, not while you got worm calling. I mean, worm
you think
calling.
He can just get out far enough?
Sure, he's already making 5/5 worms. If he just keeps making giant worms every turn, or pausing when he can do something even better than making giant worms.
And then he just builds up for the trump and tries to get in over the 40 or 50 life that.
I mean, the real question you asked, at what point do you start thinking about decking your opponent? I'm sure the thoughts crossed his mind. When your opponent starts gaining life at that rate, you got to take a look at it, but it doesn't seem like
I don't know
it should
how
be.
he's doing. I mean, he's already chromatic starred.
Yeah, I don't think it's not the route to victory of this game.
And did he just suspend the Gargadon?
Yes, he did.
So the Tice's plan is offline for about 10 turns.
Sure. Yeah, I have trouble seeing how Usawa gets in for 19 points of damage. Seems like worm calling is going to have time to be good.
So does this match come all down to Vampiric Link? And obviously the link's been fine on Usawa's side just in terms of gaining life.
Right.
But for Mike, who has no real way to deal with the card otherwise.
No, he knew he needed to deal with Ephemeron. He found a card in the sideboard. It's not a very often played card, but it was just what he needed in this game.
Well, again, these guys from Wisconsin seem to have had some pretty different pick orders. They may have found that to be a really reliable sideboard card in testing.
Bobo Bono is asking if this is best 3 out of 5 or best 2 out of 3. It is best 3 out of 5. I guess that has turned into best 2 out of 3 now that they've split the first two, but players need 2 more wins to win the Pro Tour.
Plenty of people now.
Well, he's gaining the same 4 life he was gaining before. Now he's going to add the corpse to his attack.
Used Melancholy to tap something I can't see on the far end.
Trespasser,
the Trespasser, which was holding off the corpse.
Mike 16, Sour 42.
Seems like it's time for Haran to go on the offensive. If not now, then soon. That's a Slipstream Serpent on the other side, right?
It is.
I mean, it picks off 1 creature a turn, but I don't know how much longer he can afford to wait.
Certainly looks like he's thinking about it. I mean, one of the blockers is Sage of Epicure here.
Right.
Worried about the Dredge Reapers?
Yeah, maybe. Stonebrow comes over again. And Stonebrow connects for damage again.
Really only getting in for 2 a turn there. Flashes back Strangling Sit.
Yep.
Get rid of that Corpulent Corpse.
Is that Myroboa? Yep. Sawa keeps attacking, gaining a life. Ron's got the Vampiric Embrace so that he'll stay stable.
Vampiric Link. What is that another Corpulent Corpse? Hard cast. Or is that another ephemeron? It's another ephemeron.
It's another ephemeron. That could be an issue. We have not seen H-Ron come up with a good way to deal with a 4-4 flyer.
No, I'm not finding it. I keep looking. He's getting a bonus of something like 27 if he has a trump.
Yeah, he's been building up. Hasn't really been able to press it for an attack. But he's got to find out a way to start attacking soon.
Not sure if he has 8 or 9 guys. I can't see on them. Looks like 8 guys, so 24. Actually, no, I'm sorry. He gets times 5 because he's got the stone brow. So he gets a 40-point bonus if he draws the tromp right now. It's the cardboard.
It's clearly what he's playing for. Smash. Who needs tromp the domains when you've got that many creatures? Ron challenges Usawa to come up with a good block.
Ephemeron getting eaten? No.
Ephemeron's not even in the red zone. I'm not sure it's going to block.
No, I don't think it will. I was thinking about taking down a bear. He's still got a Gargadon waiting in the wings.
It's true. It's definitely true. Greater Gargadon hanging out, ticking down. How many counters are left on it?
I can't see it from here.
8 counters. Ephemeron does get in there to block.
But a bear.
Sure.
Good. Name and mistake. Okay.
What do you think of Usawa's block?
It seems perfectly reasonable. He doesn't really lose anything. He eats a couple of creatures.
Okay.
I don't know if he doesn't want to give up on the sage. Not sure what he's saving the sage for there.
Took 12 damage down to 28.
Oh, he didn't. Okay. Didn't the sage block? Of course it did.
6/6.
Giant worm. 6/6.
6/6 could be joined by a greater Gargadon at almost any time. There's enough permanents in play.
Sure. Ron doesn't really want to lose his lands, of course, because he's using them to fuel worm calling.
Just saying if he has.
But he does have
It looks
that
like
option.
He has a lethal strike.
Right, right.
Didn't quite get Osawa down by half, but
Yep.
got about a third of the way there. Considering he's
12
getting
damage. I mean, if he can deal 12 a turn consistently, Usawa's only gaining 4.
You know, it's this game stalls out.
Yep.
How much damage does Ron take from the Gargadon when it comes into play if it gets Tysus?
What is it, 9-7?
Yeah.
16.
What's he at?
16. Same thing happens with Spectral Force.
Same thing. Yep. Good argument for the wild pair thing we were talking about earlier. Play the Spectral Force, go get Greater Gargadon.
It's not bad.
So now Osawa's looking. He's cracking back. Get in for 4. Got a 4-turn clock actually on Ron here. The Tysus barely matters. Road on taps. Yeah, each attack he's making just seems like it's going to be better. Again, he can start. He's just going to make a giant 6-6 or 7-7 every turn now for the rest of the game. But again, with Stonebrow able to address Tysus, this game is just about over. I can't see any answers for the card in Osawa's list. Like I said, it's plus 40 or more. Uh-oh. Here it comes. Comes the Gargadon. Here comes the Trompe the Domains. That's plus, I think, 120. Not exactly sure. Wow. What an amazing victory by the player from Madison. He goes up 2-1 in the match. He was 40 points for his opponent. It's one of the things I think he might have won that game without Trompe the Domains, to be fair. But Trompe certainly made the math very, very simple. And now Osawa's looking to his sideboard. Who would have thought Vampiric Link would play that big a role in the Pro Tour Finals when everyone was doing their pick orders this weekend, talking about cards? That was certainly not a card anyone was talking about. You regularly see it going 15th. And both players used it. It kept the game going far longer. Osawa's was okay, but Mike's Vampiric Link kept him in the game long enough and eventually enabled him to win. I mean, he had no answer for that Ephemeron, and the Ephemeron would have just killed him long ago without the Vampiric Link. So that's what we were talking about card evaluation. People get very, very locked into the idea of a card being good or bad, playable, unplayable, but there's certainly situations, Kenji wrote about this in an article on Star City, you have to look at your sideboard, you have to think about what your options are, and when Mike's looking at that Ephemeron across the board from him, he knows he has no answer for it. He doesn't even have an evolution charm. I thought he had an evolution charm. He doesn't even have an evolution charm to jump a guy in the way of the Ephemeron.
Sure.
So his only answer, he's got like Dusk Wasp with a Thallid Germinator with tokens on. It was just amazing. That Trompe the Domains. I still haven't finished calculating how much damage that was. He had 9 guys, I think. So
a lot.
Plus 5, plus 45.
That's the way we knew in a long game. Ron was set up for Trompe the Domains. Just keeps making worms.
Yeah, no, that was great. And again, I think you can't not look at Vampiric Link as the whole reason that game went to Mike. He can't win the game without it.
No, you're absolutely right. A really smart sideboard plan.
Yeah. I think it's very interesting that both players went to it. I don't think the card's as interesting, actually. I guess Osawa wants it to get above the Trump math.
I don't think that's possible. Between Stonebrow and Worm Calling, it's not clear there is a number that's high enough.